Red Pill Phil and his two friends were chased out of Manchester on the 19th of May 2018. That was last Saturday. They were attending a Football Lads Alliance Remembrance March for the Manchester Arena bombing, and they were just pulled aside by the police and, chased out of the city. There was also a woman called Sharon Binks who just happened to be talking with them, and she was walking with them for about 10 minutes. She got arrested too. A word of warning, the police are now starting to use the Section 35 dispersal order more often at marches. So if you go on a march and the police are suspicious of you, they can just pull you aside and issue you with one of these orders and a map telling you what area to keep away from. And if you come into that area within 24 hours, the police can arrest you. If the police approach you and give you one of these dispersal orders and a map, it's game shot, it's over. Just accept it, give them your name and address and get out. Because if you argue with them, they will use this as an excuse to arrest you. Two of Red Pill Phil's friends, John and a guy called Joel, who was live streaming things to his Facebook as they were walking down the road. And as the film goes on, you'll see that the police knew who these guys were because they were watching this guy's live stream. They were watching his Facebook as this was going on, so they had every intention of approaching them, Red Pill Phil always interviews or not always, but most of the time, if he can, he interviews the anti-fascists and gets their views, And it's very interesting to look at his videos to see all the different angles and the different views of the two opposing sort of factions. Let's just take a look at what happened.
Have we got to disperse?
You'll all be identified. Because I'm not doing anything wrong.
Okay, but you're not going down there.
Why?
So you'll be dispersed to leave.
I know, but explain to me why though.
Okay, because there'll be disorder down there.
Not from us.
How do you know there'll be disorder? And if it is going to be disorder, you said it's going to be from us. Why don't you give them?
Yeah, there you go. Okay, so you've live.
I'm not live streaming at all.
You engage the left.
I'm not. Can you prove I'm live streaming? Because if you are, then you've got every validation to say
that from Silver, okay, from who's
from me.
We're monitoring all.
So from me?
Yes.
So I'm live streaming. So can I just say that is an out and out lie then? Because I am recording this right now. I am not live streaming in any sense.
As you can see here, this policeman admits that they were watching their live stream, but it wasn't Red Pill Phil who was doing the live streaming. It was his friend to his Facebook. But the policeman obviously has got mixed up here, But this proves that they were invading their space by watching their live stream.
So we found out, we was in a bar in Deansgate. We found out the counter-protest was at a place called St. Peter's Square, which is, if anyone knows Manchester, it's outside the Central Library, which is opposite the Midland Hotel.
It is, yeah.
So we then proceeded to walk. Now, what was going on in the background, which we didn't realise, is that Joel was doing a live stream. At what point did you live stream, Joel?
From when we left the moon under the water.
So we'd left the bar, you'd done the live stream, and I'm not sure what you were saying on the live stream, but it's irrelevant.
It is, yeah.
What we now know is that the police were tapped into that live stream.
They were,
because they were using that as trying to as evidence against us.
What we're doing,
And obviously from that live stream they felt that we were going to antagonise, and we wasn't.
No.
None of us had any intent. There was no brandishing of any words that could be deemed as hate speech or anything.
As you can see here, the policeman has already got the dispersal order in his hand, which proves that this was planned and premeditated. They already knew that they were going to serve these dispersal orders onto Red Pill Phil and his two friends. It's just unfortunate that Sharon was there because she also got one served on her, and she hadn't even done nothing. So, the surprise and unjust nature of this. I mean, nobody knows what these things are. They only came out in 2014. But it's another way for the priest to repress the people, and make the people do what the state wants the people to do. This dispersal order is very disturbing and proves that the government is continually putting structures into place and passing legislation which is designed to silence the people and they are using the police force to do this. Anyway, let's get back to Sharon Binks' arrest here, and I will make the picture bigger here so that you can see what's happening, so that you can see the police take the glass off Sharon. I think the policeman asked Sharon what was in the glass, had she been drinking alcohol, and you know, the glass, as we said before, was plastic, and the contents of the glass was lemon and lime, and they took the glass off Sharon. Anyway, Sharon goes to walk away back towards the Football Lads Alliance march, or where that march is going to be. And the police just come running after. One of the policemen comes after her, grabs her arm, then another policeman gets hold of her. And, you know, they really manhandle her into the back of a police car.
Details. I don't want you to record information that he's going to give me, because it's private.
Is he willingly giving the information?
Yes, he is.
Up?
Could I ask you to move away, please?
He's got
to give me some sensitive information.
All right.
It's not fair for him to have you recording.
It's not fair for you to be withholding him. Excuse me. It's not fair for this to be happening, is it?
Excuse me,
I'm just saying.
No.
This is bullshit.
I'm not. You're under arrest. All right. So what with me?
What? So she's under arrest? What for? Can you see what's going on here? So this is all about removing anyone that's got anything to say.
Anyway, as you can see here, Sharon gives the glass to the policeman and decides to walk away because the other policeman's just got a notepad in his hand. And the policeman runs after her and grabs hold of her by the arm. Another policeman comes over and grabs her by the other arm. This is a total sort of like over-the-top reaction. Grabs her by that arm. And then they proceed to drag this perfectly law-abiding person, decent person, down the curb like she's a common criminal and throw her into the back of a police van. Absolutely over-the-top behaviour. Let's look what happens in the police van.
So I've just been detained for being a bystander in a city square. I've got off the train. From Middlesbrough to come to a remembrance march in honour of the people that died. I followed the guys down here, right? I'm standing around watching what's going on. I get arrested for doing nothing. I wasn't videoing, I wasn't causing trouble.
You don't have to do anything.
Does this mean that the dispersal order gives them the right to arrest people for nothing?
Just standing there.
Let me speak, I will explain what we're doing and why we're doing it, okay?
You've arrested me for nothing.
I've arrested you for failing to provide your details upon request.
What did I have to provide my details for standing around in a square?
We have
I haven't done anything wrong.
And evidence that you are associated with this group, therefore...
What information and intelligence?
The cameras have been watching you.
Once again, this further proves that Red Pill Phil and his two friends, John and Joel, were being targeted by the police and harassed by the police. And it was just unfortunate that Sharon happened to be walking with them for 10 minutes, because that's all she was doing. She just bumped into them and was walking with them for 10 minutes down the road.
I arrived down the road to a meeting point.
What's happening? Okay.
Right, I arrived down the road on my own. Do you want to see my train ticket?
No, I don't want to
right,
see the train ticket.
I saw these guys. I said, "Where are you going? We're having a walk down there. Can I come with you?" Because the guys that were supposed to meet me off the train didn't meet me, right? So I walked down here with them because I've seen them before, right? I'm no association with them at all, apart from I've walked down here with
them on camera.
I'm associated.
That's enough for us.
What walking down the street with somebody,
yes.
having a conversation with somebody is
That's
enough to arrest me?
No.
Is enough to arrest me?
That is enough to issue with the Section 35 power.
In my opinion, this is the total abuse of Section 35 dispersal powers. And, you know, if we allow this to carry on like this, it's going to set a precedent so that the police will just use this and sort of serve these powers onto anyone for anything and get away with it.
Okay.
Police brutality.
It's not police
You've
brutality.
twisted my arm, you've nipped my arm. I wasn't resisting. I wasn't waving my arms around. I didn't have a glass in my hand. He took the plastic cup off me.
Well, you can't deny what she said there, can you?
That I walked down with lime and soda in it.
I'm not arguing with you.
He took the plastic cup off me. I didn't have a glass in my hand. This is police brutality. Okay. It's an abuse of power. All I was doing was standing in the square listening to what was going on when them guys are getting told they're getting a Section 35. You've bullied me. You've bullied me from walking up to me. You've bullied me. Right? You bullied me. You grabbed onto me and you bullied me. No, you grabbed my arm and you bullied me. He took the glass off me before you did that. Right? So you asked me for my name and address, right? And I have done nothing wrong. You have given me a section 35 for standing in the street. For standing in the street. Can you understand why I resist telling you my name and address when I feel, as a citizen, I've done nothing wrong? No, not if you're in the wrong. Are you following your oath? Are you following your oath?
Are you
following your
oath?
In conclusion, the government are going to get more and more repressive as time unfolds, and more legislation will be passed to silence the people. The national media is compliant in this repression, and instead of protecting our freedoms of speech and assembly, they, the media, are backing the state up in this repressive behaviour.